Welcome back, those of you still with us. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to recognize all of the new subscribers and incredible channel performance as of late. It's spooky. Anyways, from August 18th through August 24th, there were 620 shootings across the United States. In those incidents, 263 people lost their lives, including 214 victims and 49 perpetrators. Another 494 people were injured. California leads again this week with 36 fatalities across 56 shootings. Texas had the second most incidents and fatalities with 21 dead in 36 shootings. Missouri stands out with a high fatality to incident ratio, where 14 were killed in 18 shootings. At the city level, Chicago logged 40 shootings with 12 killed. Houston had only 9 incidents but 8 dead, giving it the highest fatality rate among major cities. Los Angeles was not far behind with 9 dead across 16 shootings. This week, the No Shooting Award goes to Alaska, Maine, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Wyoming. Honorable mentions are Massachusetts, Minnesota, Oregon, Utah, Delaware, Hawaii, Rhode Island, and notably Washington, D.C., who all had shootings but no fatalities. Now let's count down the top 10 worst shootings of the week, starting at number 10. Number 10, San Antonio, Texas. Just before 8:30 on Sunday morning, August 24th, San Antonio police were called to the 12,200 block of DeWitt Avenue near Whitney Avenue and Blue Wing Road on the city's southeast side. A caller had reported finding 2 men lying in a driveway with gunshot wounds. Officers arrived and discovered 31-year-old Carlos Mora dead from a gunshot wound to the head. His death was ruled a homicide by the Bezzar County Medical Examiner's Office. Nearby was his father, 60-year-old Chris Mora, who investigators say shot his son before turning the gun on himself. A firearm was found close to his body, and his death was ruled a suicide. Neighbors told reporters the scene unfolded quickly in a quiet residential area. Police cordoned off the block as detectives worked through the morning to collect evidence and canvass for witnesses. The exact circumstances that led up to the shooting remain under investigation, though officials say all indications point to a murder-suicide. The tragedy has prompted reminders of mental health resources in the community, including the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. Number 9. Grass Valley, California. On Friday morning, August 22nd, deputies in Nevada County responded to a disturbance on Glen Meadow Drive in Grass Valley. Inside the residence, they found 58-year-old Sarah Regina Sanders suffering from gunshot wounds. She was rushed by air ambulance to a hospital in Placer County, but later died of her injuries. Witnesses provided deputies with a description of the suspect, identified as her son, 18-year-old Leo Thomas Sanders. A short time later, officers spotted him riding a motorcycle. After a brief pursuit ending near Squirrel Creek Road and Adam Avenue, Sanders stopped and took his own life with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Despite immediate life-saving efforts from deputies and emergency crews, he was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators confirmed the case as a murder-suicide and emphasized that it was an isolated domestic incident with no ongoing threat to the community. Road closures in the area were lifted later that day as detectives continued their work. The sheriff's office has not released any motive behind the shooting, leaving neighbors shaken after the loss of a mother and son in a quiet rural neighborhood. Number 8. Falls City, Nebraska. Just after 11 a.m. on Wednesday, August 20th, officers in Falls City responded to a residence after a report of 2 people with gunshot wounds. Inside the home, police found 23-year-old Jalaiah Compton and 27-year-old Adam Lewis, both dead from gunshot injuries. Authorities later confirmed the case as a domestic murder-suicide. Investigators believe Lewis shot Compton before turning the gun on himself. Court records show Compton had filed for a protection order against Lewis in mid-July, and Lewis filed one against her 2 days later. Both requests were denied the following week. The two shared a child together. Neighbors were reassured there was no threat to the wider community, though the case has left many unsettled in the small town. Autopsies remain pending as police continue their investigation into the events that led up to the tragedy. Number 7. Alliance, Nebraska. Late Thursday morning, August 21st, Alliance Police and Box Butte County deputies were dispatched to a home near Bighorn Avenue and West 7th Street after a 911 call reported a woman had been shot. Officers arrived within minutes and found 65-year-old Melody Stinnett dead outside the residence. Nearby was her husband, 73-year-old Douglas Stinnett, suffering from a gunshot wound to the head. He was rushed to Box Butte General Hospital with life-threatening injuries and later flown to Scottsbluff, where he died soon after. Investigators determined Douglas had shot his wife before turning the gun on himself. Authorities said an autopsy has been ordered but confirmed the case as a murder-suicide. The exact circumstances leading up to the shooting remain unclear. Neighbors were reassured there was no ongoing danger to the public, though the incident has left the small western Nebraska community shaken. Number 6. Houston, Texas. On Monday afternoon, August 18th, police in West Houston were called to an apartment complex on Meadowglen Lane near Westheimer and Willcrest after neighbors spotted 3 young children sitting outside in the summer heat. The children ages 3, 2, and 1 told neighbors they were hungry and that their parents were dead inside their apartment. Officers entered the unit and discovered a man and woman, both 26 years old, dead from gunshot wounds. Investigators determined it was a murder-suicide, with evidence indicating the man shot the woman before turning the gun on himself. Detectives believe the couple may have been dead for nearly a full day before the children were discovered outside. Neighbors said the mother had confided in them during previous incidents of domestic trouble, but had stayed in the home because she did not want to leave her children. One neighbor described how the oldest child vividly recounted what she had witnessed. The children were unharmed and are now in the care of their grandmother. Child Protective Services has also been brought into the case as the investigation continues. Number 5. Mount Carbon, West Virginia. On Monday morning, August 18th, deputies in Fayette County responded to reports of shots fired in the Adena Village neighborhood of Mount Carbon. When they arrived just after 10:30 a.m., they found a chaotic scene. 53-year-old Michael Hall had opened fire from his home with a shotgun, striking a group of people gathered in a nearby carport. 49-year-old John Middleton was killed instantly. 3 others standing with him were wounded, though their injuries were described as non-life-threatening. Hall then retreated into his residence, where he later took his own life with a rifle. Responding deputies discovered his body inside during their search. A shelter-in-place order was issued for surrounding homes, but lifted once authorities confirmed there was no further threat. Investigators have not released a motive, saying the attack appeared unprovoked and that the 3 wounded bystanders were not the intended targets. The incident drew a heavy response from the Sheriff's Office, West Virginia State Police, Montgomery Police, and Natural Resources officers. Detectives continue to investigate, but for now, the community is left without answers after a morning of sudden and senseless violence. Number 4. Orlando, Florida. Just after 5 o'clock on Sunday evening, August 24th, residents at the Village Springs Apartments on Cinder Lane Parkway, north of Lake Orlando, called police after hearing gunfire. When officers arrived, they found 2 women lying critically wounded in the parking lot. Both were rushed to Orlando Regional Medical Center, but neither survived. Investigators quickly determined the shooting was domestic in nature. According to police, the suspected gunman, 31-year-old Eliette de Jesus Marquez, had been in a relationship with one of the women. The other victim was her friend, who happened to be with her at the time of the attack. Authorities believe Marquez opened fire on the pair in a sudden act of violence before fleeing the complex on foot. Detectives and tactical officers launched an immediate search of the surrounding area. Within hours, Marquez was located and taken into custody without incident. He has since been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Police have not yet released the names of the victims, citing the need to notify family. Neighbors told local reporters the apartment community was shaken, with several residents saying they heard the gunfire and saw people running for cover. Orlando police emphasized that no other suspects are being sought and that the incident was isolated. The double homicide adds to what city officials describe as a troubling surge in domestic-related shootings across Central Florida this summer. For those living at Village Springs, a quiet Sunday evening ended in chaos, with 2 lives lost and a community left to process yet another violent tragedy. Number 3. Cameron Park, California. On Thursday night, August 21st, deputies in El Dorado County responded to a home on Oakwood Road after reports of gunfire. Inside, they found 29-year-old Marissa Devoti Lessa dead and her son Josiah critically wounded. He was taken to the hospital but did not survive. A second child in the home was found unharmed. The suspect was identified as 47-year-old Darren McFarland, a CAL FIRE captain who had been with the agency since 2000 and was in a relationship with Marissa. Investigators say the shootings took place inside his residence. McFarland fled but was arrested just after midnight in Mono County, nearly 4 hours away, and is being held without bond on 2 counts of homicide. Neighbors described the incident as shocking in an otherwise quiet neighborhood, with one recalling seeing McFarland earlier that day acting normally. The Buckeye Union School District confirmed Josiah was a second grader at Blue Oak Elementary and has brought in grief counselors. CAL FIRE acknowledged McFarland's arrest and said the agency is monitoring the case, while detectives continue to investigate the motive. Number 2. Chicago, Illinois. On Thursday night, August 21st, 2 separate shootings less than an hour apart left 3 people dead and at least 1 wounded in the East Garfield Park neighborhood. The first incident happened just after 10 p.m. on South Maplewood Avenue, where 38-year-old DeAndre Russell and 28-year-old Nuri Foy were gunned down while standing outside. Both were taken to area hospitals and pronounced dead. About 40 minutes later, gunfire erupted on West Gladys Avenue. 27-year-old Tia Bell and a 26-year-old man were struck multiple times. Bell was taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, where she died, while the man survived in fair condition. Police later confirmed another 26-year-old man also suffered a graze wound and drove himself to a hospital. Bell's family has said she leaves behind 9 children. No arrests have been made in either case, and detectives from Area 4 are continuing the investigation. City officials, including Mayor Brandon Johnson and Police Superintendent Larry Snelling, had met earlier that week with West Side residents to address the rise in shootings, underscoring the ongoing toll of violence in Chicago. Number 1. Madbury, New Hampshire. On Monday morning, August 18th, police discovered 4 members of the Long family dead inside their home on Moharimet Drive. 34-year-old Emily Long, her husband, 48-year-old Ryan Long, and their children Parker, 8, and Ryan, 6, were all killed by gunshot wounds in what authorities determined was a murder-suicide. A toddler in the home survived unharmed and is now with relatives. Autopsies confirmed Emily Long as the shooter. Investigators say she killed her husband and 2 children before turning the gun on herself. In the weeks before the tragedy, Emily had shared candid TikTok videos about Ryan's battle with glioblastoma, her struggles with mental health, and the strain on their family. Authorities stressed that no single factor can explain the killings, but her posts offered a glimpse into the grief and despair building inside the home. The tragedy has devastated Madbury, a town of fewer than 2,000 residents. Ryan Long was a school psychologist at Oyster River Middle School, remembered as a supportive father and colleague. Vigils have been held, and the school district has brought in counselors for students and staff. For the surviving toddler, and for a shaken community, the question of how a family so connected could collapse so violently remains without clear answers. And there you have it, this week's selection of the worst shootings that took place. The recent assassination of Charlie Kirk has been a very vivid and public reminder of how fragile and fleeting life is, and that any of us could be next on the chopping block. Subscribe for weekly updates on shootings in America. Stay safe, and I'll see you next week, hopefully.